Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Tuesday. It's Tuesday and 3 o'clock, so I'm live, but I'm live at a specific time at 3 o'clock, and I'm going to be continuing on a series that I've started a while back on TruVizion Diagnostics. Specifically, I'm going through the fiber features of that, and I'll be right back. Thanks for joining me. Rick Uzzi here with Z-Quorum. So again, I have been going through our TruVizion diagnostic software, and I started out. I think primarily I did an intro, kind of covered a lot of summary features, but I've also recently spent a lot of time on the OLT screen, so I thought I'd go back now to the ONT screen. I went through the different panels of the OLT screen. So that particular screen shows you the different metrics kind of aggregated on the OLT. So what we're looking at here is an ONT diagnostic screen. So this is really useful for example, a call center person. So this is unusual in the fiber diagnostics world, because normally in fiber diagnostics you've got the equipment from the vendor, and a lot of times there's a EMS, element management system, that comes with that, and maybe some diagnostics that come with that, but it tends to be only for that particular platform. So it's proprietary. And then also another option, or another interesting challenge, is it's often kind of more meant for your engineering types. So a lot of the information is kind of tables and things without a lot of hints as to what's going on, and it takes somebody more with, let's say, a higher level of knowledge about this to be able to tell what's happening. And then also, a lot of times those systems, if you grant somebody access, they could go in there and do some things that might mess something up. So in addition to being just a place where you can look at things, sometimes you can change configurations and do some things that can cause problems. So a lot of times people don't give that to their call center staff, for example, or others for that reason. So it's usually limited to a small number of people that, again, have the knowledge to know what's going on, to know exactly where you need to drill in to find things. What we do with this software is try to make it very user-friendly for lots of people within an organization, whether that's somebody, as I mentioned, in the call center that could look at a screen like this, somebody more of a network engineer type that could look at the OLT screen. It's web-based, so you can pull it up on your phone. So good for field service people. They can go out and be doing things, make a change, and then pull it up on their phone and see if anything's changed in the application or if anything's gotten better, that kind of thing. So very accessible. And I was going to show this screen today. Again, a great screen for maybe, let's say, a call center situation. Because as you can see, this is our development platform. So this is a live OLT and ONT that's out in the field, but the customer is not actually in this location. So we just kind of put in a fake address and plot it on the map here in Alpharetta where our office is, and it's not actually representing where it is out in the world. But you can see here that, again, very accessible. So as soon as somebody comes to the screen, they can immediately see that they've got some issues here. I've got some yellows, which are a warning state, and then some reds, which are an alert state, meaning that that's something you want to take a look at right away. Yellow is, hey, something's just over the threshold. Red is it's way over the threshold. In this case, this being our development platform, I'm not sure that we have the threshold set exactly where they normally would be, because a lot of times we like to set things maybe a little bit lower so that we can get some color on the screen, both for demos, but also just for testing stuff out. So again, I don't know. These could be proper thresholds, they might not. But in any event, if this transmit level is in this yellow stage, normally that would mean that, again, you've exceeded the threshold, but you're not to the warning stage yet, or the alert stage. Then you've got OLT receive level and your receive level. So your receive level at the OLT, and then your receive level here on this device, I believe. You've got two numbers there. Looks like neg 18 and neg 16.412 or something like that. So that would be telling me that this particular device is out of spec in this area. And I've got some other things up here. I've got a yellow here on train speed, where that's showing me that might be an issue. I've got both voice and video panels here, and I see some yellow here, user disabled coming up there, and some receive optical signal issue, and then operational status down. So it could be that maybe it's just turned off right now, I don't know. But anyway, this draws my attention to that. And also I can see the map here in the corner, and I could drill in on this and expand this map. I'll show that on another broadcast. And then again, you've got your customer contact info up here. So if this is a customer calling in to the call center, the customer service rep can pull them up, and you can do that a number of ways. You've got a smart search here where if you type in, apparently I typed in wall before. If I type, let's see, if I click that, oh, here it is. If I click this, I can see, I can search by phone, email, last name, or MAC. And since it's a smart search, I can start putting in some things that are relevant to that parameter that I'm searching by, like phone number, email address, last name, or part of a MAC address. And it will search for stuff that matches that. Or I can select that specifically if I want to do that. And if those four are not enough, I can click the plus right here. And I've got more things I can search for. So again, I've got first and last name, business name, and all of this, of course, needs to be in your database. And we would get that information from you and upload it along as we configure the system, or when we get it set up. We can take all of your customer data and put it in here. Address, city, state, zip code, postal code, depending on where you live, phone number, email address that we could also do again on that little simple search. And then we've got associated number, that would be your customer ID, let's say your billing ID number for this customer. The device type, you can filter, you can do all, or I can filter if I just want to see cable modem, DSL, ONT, or set-top box. And that, the reason we have these in there is because this particular application can look at several different kinds of devices in the home if they're supported. So, cable modems, we have lots of customers that have got both cable modems and, for example, fiber, ONTs. So they can pull up a customer and see both devices on the same screen. So if you do that, you would see a little selection down here, and whatever you selected, you'd see either the ONT or the cable modem, and then you can switch back and forth just by clicking the little icon that would appear here. But this one does not have that, or does not have that situation. So again, I'll click the plus up here just to take a look at that. So I can, if I just wanted to say, well, I'm not interested in the cable modem in the house, I want to look at the ONT, then you can search by the customer's information, pull that up, and just get the ONT. But again, if you search for all, it's very easy to just, from that screen, select the one that you want. You can search by MAC address, IP address, assuming it's a public IP, maybe, I guess it would pull up a private too. Serial number, if let's say an ONT and an ONT identifier, and this affiliate would be for us, only it appears on our screens. This would be the different operators that are using the software, so we can select a specific operator if we want to do that. So again, you got lots of ways that you can search. So this is the main way that somebody might search for a customer. I'll show you in a bit how you can also do that from the OLT, from any of the reports, and get right back to a screen like this. But I will close that. And again, what I was going to look at today is this ONT devices panel. So right here, up at the top, we've got a picture of the device, which is very helpful if somebody's trying to determine what kind of device this person has. What does it look like? If it's a standalone, like a device you might put on a desk, like a cable modem, that's what most of them look like. You'd have a picture of that right there. Or it could be, a lot of times on fiber, we'll see kind of a concentrator that's feeding an area where you've got several pieces of fiber coming out of that to different homes or office park, that kind of thing. But in this case, it's this device, which I guess would be something that would be on a wall. Then you can see here, so we've got what model this is. We can see right here, it's Calyx. We can see it's a 721GE. We know what port and slot it's in, so it's slot 1, port 1. We see the identifier here is 9, registration ID if you were to have that in the system. The subscriber ID, here's a description if you put that in there. Software version, and this is nice to have, the software version, because if a customer is having a problem, maybe you're aware of an issue with a particular device where a particular software firmware level has been causing problems, and maybe this one never got upgraded or updated. You could go ahead and see that that's not the proper software version, and then go through your normal process to update that device. Serial number again right here, and again you can search for this. So if you know the serial number of the device, you can go up here into the search like I showed you, and just type in the serial number there, or part of the serial number, and it will pull up anything that matches that. Down here, let's see, MAC address, again you can search by that. Again, here we're seeing some metrics as far as the performance of this device. We see the transmit level, OLT receive level, and receive level, again with these color coding here to let us know what's happening. We've got the range length, so this would be, I believe, the length of the fiber, let's say from the OLT to the ONT here, so that's nice to know. Obviously, the admin state we want to see enabled, operational state we want to see enabled, but this would, if it was degraded, for example, it might show us that. Got additional status, trial provisioning present. And then alarms, this shows 0. If there was a alarm on this, then I'd have a number, such as 1 or 2. I could click on that, and then I would see what those alarms are. And I'm actually going to show you some screenshots from another device that I took a little bit earlier today to show you a couple of other features on here that I don't have here on any devices on our development platform. So I wanted to show you those. But I did want to show you the live version as well, so you can kind of see me clicking around in here. Then we've got performance, if there were any BIP errors, up or down, gem heck errors up, or burst errors up. We can see those here. And then I've got a since date and time here. So this date is basically from 6:21 at 2:45 p.m. So shortly before, like 15 minutes before I started this broadcast, I had pulled up this screen. You can check this auto update right here, and what that will do is then every 15 minutes when we poll, the screen will just automatically refresh and upload any data. So you can do that if you wanted to keep that kind of going. If you were watching it for some reason, we default it to off because I think that's a little bit less annoying. If you're looking at a screen and you're looking at something, you may not want it to refresh right at that time. So you can also at any time click this little refresh or this update now button. And again, we poll every 15 minutes, I believe. And if you've passed that polling period, so this was 6:21, 2:45, I should now be able to, if we polled again, to update that without having to click this and kind of wait for that. At any time, if I'm past that polling period, if I click that, it should, yeah, so you see it went from 6:21 to 3 p.m. and it's now approximately 3:12, so in just about 3 minutes or so, this would again, I'd be able to update that one more time, or I'll click that update now button. So that's a nice little feature to have in there. And then also up at the top here, I've got a action button, and I can reset this device. So if I do that, that's going to just, kind of take it offline for a second and reset it. So I've always got that. So again, as a customer service person, that could be very handy if the customer is having an issue, rather than trying to explain to them how they maybe could reset the device there or do something to kind of refresh it. Your service rep can just go in here and click that. I'm not going to do that because there really is a customer at the end of this. I can also show commands. So I'm going to click that. And there's nothing under here. I noticed that earlier, so I need to find out exactly what this is. I think there might be some commands in some cases, maybe for specific equipment, where that will do something. And then what else was there? Oh, I can't show that from here because I don't have anything. There's some features here under CPE. So you see the CPE down here, and you see 0. So there's nothing connected on the other side of this ONT here, but in some cases you may have, a gateway device or some other laptop or something connected where that's going to show up as a piece of CPE. So you have a few options there as well. So before I go to show that, I did want to click in on the OLT screen and show you how else you can get to this device, for example. I'll show you something else on the map as well. So if I go to this OLT right here, I can see, again, this is basically aggregating all of the information from the different ONTs connected to this and the different ports that they're on. So I've shown this for the last several weeks, so I'm not going to go through all the details, but I have shown that you can get to any device. Like, let's say I'm looking at my degraded devices, and I've got 2 on this port here, and I click on that, and I've got this Xander person here, Xander Cervantes, fake name. When I click on that, that takes me to this screen for this particular subscriber. So I can see here, and this one actually has 3 alarms, it looks like, so I can click on that and show you what that looks like. So when I click on, or is that just 1? Oh, it's just a 1, sorry, I'm looking at a smaller screen here, that's just a 1. So you can see ONT battery is missing on this particular one. So that's the alarm situation there. And then also, as I go back, let me go back to my first guy. I can also get to these from the map, for example. If I am looking at customers, and here's the one I'm looking at right now, I see a little house on there. I can click around on these, and I can see what other customers I have. I can see, what their address is, and I get a kind of a summary of what's going on at that house. And then also, scroll down here. Yeah, we've got to view details. So any of these other devices, let's say this guy over here I want to look at. I'm going to look at his device. I can just click the view detail, and I will bring him up, and then I can see what's going on for him as well. So that's another way to get there. So again, any report on the OLT screen that you wanted to pull up, generally it will show you the username, and then you can click on that username and bring up their screen here and then drill in further on that. So like I say, it's very user-friendly. So you can always just click on the little breadcrumb right here to go to the OLT, or if you're on the OLT and you click on any report in the device from any area, you could click on all of them. So this is the total online devices right here on this particular OLT, and you can see we've only got a handful of a little more than a handful of fake names and addresses in here. The rest of these are just showing up as an NA because we didn't bother putting any of these. So any of these I can click either on the NA or on the customer's name and pull up that particular device. And you can see when there's no customer information associated with it, it shows up as no customer, and the map is blank because there's no address and there's no customer name. So that's what it looks like in that situation. And also just kind of what we are describing those as in this OLT panel is as an unauthorized customer. So if you have subscribers in here with no username and no address, it's going to show up as an unauthorized account. A lot of times that is because it's unauthorized. In other words, maybe you forgot to take it out of the database. I don't think somebody can go buy something and stick it on the network. Maybe they can. I know they do that with cable modems, where they'll go buy a cable modem, stick it on the network, and the CMTS will authenticate it, but then it will give it a service configuration of no service. So they'll let it come online, but they don't serve it. I don't know if there's a similar thing. I doubt it with ONTs, but anyway. So these unauthorized are all the ones that have no address and no name. So finally, I was going to show you again some screenshots that I took earlier today, just in a slideshow of another operator. So in this case, I'm blurring out customer information. You can see here, I'm blurring that out. But in this case, similar, whoops, I just forwarded a couple of slides here. I forgot I'm on a slideshow. Actually, I need to point, yeah, here we go. All right, so you can see here, there's an alarm. Again, same type of device. You got all the same information. There's an alarm. When I click on the alarm, in this case, it's pulling up ONT upstream SDBER, rate exceeded, not sure what that is. Go back to the screen, you just close that out. And the other thing I was going to show is that, again, if I scroll down here, oh, and this one also, you can see it's not in the best shape here. So I got a lot of BIP errors and gem errors. So, that's telling me that there's an issue there. And I can see, again, the map here. I've got the particular subscriber here, and I've got others around it that are all experiencing either yellow or red. So none of these are in great shape. If I scroll down here, then I can, again, I've got an IP address and a MAC address, which I have blocked out. But I can click the ping, is it ping? Which one did I click first? I think I clicked the ping button. So if I click the ping button, then that pulls up a ping, and I can click the ping down here. It already processed because I processed it and then took the screenshot. But you can see that the ping information, again, blocking out the specific information, the IP address of this customer. You can ping it again. It gives you some options here. Number of pings that you want to do, the packet size. You can change that stuff out like you normally would on a ping. And you can see your response time, and you can see basically the trace of that right there. Again, I can close that out, and then you've got this little play button, and that gives you another little troubleshooting item here where you can, again, this is the CPE that we're looking at. So I just pinged, let's say it was a gateway router, or maybe it's something, I guess it could be something on the other side of the gateway router that I'm pinging. And then I've got, depending on the device, I might be able to connect to it through SSH or HTTPS, HTTP, Telnet. So we give you a little interface to do that. You can put in the port and then hit submit, and then you can do that through the application. So that's a little helpful piece of information right there to again, help your tech support people or whoever is troubleshooting this. I also wanted to show right here, you've got a drill in button that can give you some historical information on some of these items. So when I click that, I get, I start out by default at 24 hours. I think I forgot, maybe I put these in the wrong order. So right now I'm looking at 7 days. Normally it defaults to 24 hours, but it's showing you the history of these various items. So I can see the history of the transmit level right there, hasn't changed. I can see my receive level, history over in this case 7 days. BIP errors over 7 days, BIP errors down, that's up, down. GEM heck errors up, OLT receive level, and then I've got my burst up errors right there. So you can see that over time. And again, normally goes to 7 days first. Let's see, I'm going to click again on this presentation. There's the 24 hours. So I just had those two slides backwards. So that's 24 hours. You can see what it looks like. And then if I go back here, then I would just click the 7 days, and I would see the 7 days. Then I can click 30 days, and I see it over 30 days. And here's where I thought it was pretty interesting. So it looks like, if I'm assuming, yeah, it looks like this device was online this whole time, because I am seeing some changes in receive level on the OLT and just the receive level here on the device, and don't see any of the errors here, but I do see the BIP errors up and the missed burst errors up here starting about this point. So this to me is helpful, that I can look back and see when did all this start happening as far as these errors. So again, this is great. This wouldn't be so much your call center agent. This would be somebody maybe that maybe the call center agent reported, hey, we've got some errors on this particular one, and somebody then can go to the screen and look at it and drill in a little bit more. Somebody that's more responsible for maybe trying to figure out how to resolve that issue, not just what's going on with the subscriber, but what they can do to figure out what's causing that. And then I've got 90 days as well. So if you click the little 90-day radio button, you get that. And again, same thing. You can see nothing was happening all of this time, and then suddenly we had these errors. I can't do it here because it's a screenshot, but you can also, anytime you drill in, you can kind of drill to a specific portion of the chart by dragging or clicking and dragging, and then it will expand the chart out to just this time period, and it will tell you what that time period is right up here, but I can't do that. Maybe I'll go back to the live system and show you what that looks like. And then finally, there's a live, and I guess I can show you this on the live system as well. So there's a live button. When you click that, it will start streaming in live, and I took a screenshot just after it had been on for like 20 or 30 seconds. So every 5 seconds or so, it's going to plot a point. So this is, again, helpful if you're troubleshooting with a customer. You make a change, and you want to see if it's, kind of immediately what's happening. You can see as these stream in live, which is really nice. So I will go back to get out of this here, go back to this. So I will pick a device. Let's see, this one is degraded. Let's try that. So again, I'm going to drill in on this. And I can see here, again, it defaults to 24 hours. So I'm looking at the actual device, and it's changing as I go here. So I can go to 7 days, 30 days, and back to, where is it, 90 days. So that's all the way out to 90 days looking at that. But again, if I go to live here, let's say I'm troubleshooting with a customer, I got to wait a few seconds, but every 5 seconds you will start to see this chart loading right there. You see my first point on all of these charts at the same time. And a lot of times, you're not going to see any change right away. If this device is working fine, it's just going to be a straight line for a long period of time. So it's going to depend on the situation. You saw in the one I showed earlier in the screenshot, it actually did make a change at, just within like the first 20 or 30 seconds. So at this point, we just have streaming in basically straight lines because there's no issue going on right at these moments that I'm looking at this device. So that is the live feature. Again, another, I think, helpful feature that we have in the software. So again, this is the screen. This is, again, an example of somebody where we don't have the customer information in here. But again, you see this has got some issues here that we might want to address, including this ONT battery missing here. Maybe they know that, and we're just informing them because that's what this device is reporting. And when we're looking at this, by the way, we're looking at information about the ONT, but we're not going down to the ONT to get it. So if you had a concern about, like, what is this doing to my bandwidth as you guys are pulling all this information, I don't think there's really any of that going on. What we are taking is this information that's already on the OLT. So this is information, I guess, that's being reported by the ONT to the OLT anyway, and then we're taking it from there and presenting it on the screen so that you know what's going on with the subscriber device itself and the metrics related to that device. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. So next week, I think I'm going to go through, actually, well, tell you right here. I think next week I am going to go through this panel right here. So I'll be looking at the data port panel. And again, I can scroll down here and there's more things that I can see. I've got different ports I can look at right here. So I will be looking at that next week. So I hope you can join me. And I will be back at 3 o'clock next Tuesday for Tech Tuesday. See you then. Bye-bye.